Back in studio tomorrow for one of our favorite days, April Fool's Day. I wonder if those chairs in that conference room down the hall will be completely just moved all around the room tomorrow. What do you think the chances of that are? Shh. I know, brilliant, right? He said the one time, so he walks, so do I, during breaks, just stretch the legs. And he was saying about how he walked into that conference room, just sort of takes a loop, but it started to bother him that the chairs were not perfectly situated. Like they were just a little bit not perfectly back together. The family at the restaurant just left, and the staff isn't back yet to sort of redress the scene. So what did he say? Like he would put the chairs back, or he didn't even want to go in there anymore because the chairs weren't like properly. So I haven't told anybody this yet, but for like the last 2 months, once or twice a week, I'll just go down there and move all the chairs around. I've been a little bit wondering if like, hey, welcome back. You good?
I'm shook. Shook is what I am. Do you want me to tell the whole? You've opened the door, buddy. Here it comes. So I walk around during the breaks, and we don't have the biggest office, the biggest floor, but and I could go out. I have a way to get in and out, but I do laps around our offices during the breaks. And a part of that is there's a large conference room with, 15, 16 chairs around it, big table. We have meetings in there sometimes. And that's like the end of my loop. I loop through that room or walk around the table and then come back here. And I got in the habit when I was doing this in the winter of tucking the chairs into the table, in part because I'm a lunatic and I like to have everything look symmetrical, and so I want the chairs to look. But it's also to protect myself. At 5 o'clock on a Wednesday in the winter, it's dark in there. And if I go walking through there, it's pitch dark, the shades are closed. I'm going to trip and fall on a chair that's askew. So
terrible. I've
gotten in the habit of tucking the chairs in. So, 45 minutes ago, I took this walk. And I went through that room, and I didn't have to tuck any chairs in, and it's not as big an issue now because it's light out until we're off the air.
You can see your way around.
I can see my way around if there's something in my way. But everything was neat. Like all the chairs were tucked in. It was fine. I didn't have to move anything, and I just walked through and came back. And then just now at 4:58 or whenever we went to break, I got up and walked around, did the same loop, and there were like 10 chairs as askew in there as I've ever seen. Like somebody was sitting and just pushed the chair as far and as hard as they could away from the table and left the room. 10 different people did this in that room, and there are 8 people here right now?
I'm not sure there are that many.
I mean, you got us
there are
3.
4 of us.
There's Puckett's out there. There's Brayton out there. A couple of other dudes. Producer for Bowerly's show. There's definitely
10.
less than 10.
Okay.
What happened between 4:15 and 5 o'clock? Like, did everyone show up for a meeting and just wreck the room? I mean, wreck the room's a little strong, and then just leave?
On a Friday, I doubt it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sunny. Well, I just have no idea. I feel like someone who knows that I do that with the chairs is messing with me. But there's nobody here. There are a couple of women who work down at that end of the building that I have confided in them that I have a thing about the chair. I tuck the chair. I want the chairs to look nice. And they kid me about it when they see me. They're not here every day. But when they see me, they smile and laugh and like, there he goes to fix his chairs or
Allie?
whatever. Yeah, Allie.
Samantha?
Yes. And so they're not here.
No
one's here. Like, I could see Allie wanting to mess with me that way.
Really?
Yeah.
She doesn't seem that type to me.
She makes fun of me in a fun, good-natured way about this, that I take this walk and that I have this chair thing.
Well, you may know her better than I do, but sometimes people have that and you don't know it. That sort of capacity.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if she were here. I would have thought, why did you do that to the chair? I would have immediately accused her of messing with the chairs.
You sort of want to right now anyway, even though she's not. You haven't seen her,
right? I don't understand. Like, what happened to those chairs? Who moved those chairs? Who was in there? I mean,
there's really no chance there was a meeting.
No. If everyone who's here in the building right now went down there, including us, and left the chairs like that, that's the only explanation I have. And I know we didn't do that. I don't believe any of the people that are working in the newsroom went and did that. What the hell happened?
I don't know. What would make the most sense?
It wasn't just one chair either. It literally was like 10 chairs were just all over the place in there. I mean, as far away from the table as the walls would allow them to be is where the chairs were. And I just, I stood in the doorway like, how? Why?
You'd been there an hour ago.
Not even an hour ago.
And then you went back.
Yeah. And there's no one here. I'm
ghosts.
I am shook by this. Honest to God, I do not understand what just happened.
What would be the likeliest scenario? Something happened.
Yeah.
There was no meeting. There's no way the big shots are coming in to have a meeting, and they wouldn't even do that anyway. I feel like most of the people we work for would put the chairs back. You know, like you're taught to do. Like you're taught to do.
I can tell you. Not. I can tell you that does not happen.
Okay, maybe not. But they're not in the building.
Yeah, and
so that's out.
And this was way more aggressive than it. You know, normally, there'd be like a chair or two that might be in my way that I could trip on if it were dark, and I got to tuck it in. Mm-hmm. This again was like 10 of the chairs were just like, what's even happening?
I don't know.
It would not have been. Given the state of the room, it would not have been surprising to see one of the chairs on the table. Literally, that's how messed up the room was.
You know, I hadn't thought of that one.
So I just don't have any idea what could have happened.
I should have thought of that one.
Did you go down there during a break and move the chairs?
I've been doing it every day. And last week, right, Zach? One day, I talked about it.
Wait, this is
yeah, the audience knows.
Oh, you guys are the best.
I was so worried I missed your live reaction when I had to do my update. I was very nervous I missed your live reaction.
I couldn't look at you. I was staring at my phone when you were telling me what happened.
I walked in and stood at the door. Like, I didn't even sit down. I couldn't even get in the room. I'm just like, how many people are... I'm yelling. How many people are in here right now? 8 of us?
I try... Since you haven't said anything... Like, it's just for me, just also getting up and walking around. But I try to put the chairs in, like, and spread them out in a certain way that makes it impossible to understand. Like, the chairs are touching each other face to face or back to back, all the way in the corner.
Yes.
Today I put one that's, like, facing right down at the garbage can. So you'd be, like, sitting right up on top of the garbage can.
Well,
I don't know.
Good job.
I don't know.
You did a good job.
Finally.
You shook me.
Finally a payoff.
Were you what? So you have been doing this for how long?
Since shortly after the time you told me that the thing, like that you go down there and
fix the chairs so I don't trip on them.
Yes, since shortly after that. Not every day, but every other day.
Were you doing this when it was dark out still?
I don't know. It was whenever you said that.
Because I never experienced. I never had any. What
was that? Like 2 or 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Since then.
Wow.
And I do think, like, it hasn't come up yet. Is there a way I can make it even more ridiculous where the chairs, like, I haven't gone as far as to stack them or put them on the table.
Right.
Because I really don't want a problem.
Right. Well, today was the first. They have been askew, and the room has looked different other days when I've gone down there after having been in there already, when I don't think anyone's here, but I guess I'm not sure. You know, they could have been in a different conference room having a meeting with the door closed, and they, for some reason, went in that room because they needed the TV in there or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I've never really given it a thought, and it's never been askew enough for me to react the way I reacted. You finally got me to where I was like, how could this have happened?
I love the one where, like I did, the first one, if you go right to around the table from right to left, the first change I made is to have the chairs, like the front of the chair just touching the other one. Like if people were sitting in those chairs in that configuration, they'd be on top of each other.
Right, like holding hands,
be holding hands
and like doing some sort of a trust exercise or something.
Yeah,
right?
Something sexual. Like it would be. Why would two chairs be positioned like that ever? Because it would never happen if you just got up and left. It would never end up where the chairs are literally touching front to front.
Right.
Yeah. And I know you had a thing about that one that's a different kind of chair.
Oh, yeah.
So I always make sure to move one of those.
Yeah.
The leather one.
Okay, yeah.
That's all over now. I mean, that's it.
That has been...
It's worth it.
Prior to today, when... Because the chairs... There are 3 kinds of chairs in the room.
Is that right?
There are.
I should know that by now. You'd think I would know that by now. One set of them are exactly the same chairs that we're sitting in right now. Mm-hmm. Then there's chairs that have the same seat and back as we're sitting in, but have different arms, longer, sort of curved arms. Then there are chairs that have those same curved arms, but different backs and seats, like full leather or whatever, vinyl, whatever it is, coverings. And I told Allie this when I first brought it up to her. Eventually, I confided in her that I'm stopping short of looking in the other conference room to see if there's enough chairs to make all the ones in the room I walk through the same. Swap them out.
So what I've done is I have all of the kind of chairs. The one kind of chairs are on one side of the table. The other kind of chairs are on the other side of the table. That all matches because I'm insane, and that works for me. The ends of the table, anything goes. I don't really care.
Right. Okay.
So when
You've made that change.
When I see one of the chairs like we're sitting in on the other side of the table, I think, is there someone who always sits over there that wants this chair that I'm annoying?
Yeah.
By moving it and forcing them to sit in this.
Well, they probably yes.
It's just you the whole time.
Probably yes. No, there could be somebody who wants to sit in a certain chair, and they probably all sit in the same seats in those meetings.
You've had a months-long gag running. I went to Puerto Rico and come home, and finally you get
I don't even remember why I brought it up. I didn't have a thought to bring it up. It was right at the beginning of a show one day last week. And do you remember why? I don't remember even why I said it.
You were missing me, that's why.
Something.
Couldn't have been that.
It just sort of came out. I felt like I was probably ruining it. By announcing it.
Nobody said a word to me.
Yeah. Great for me. But thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. or instead, maybe we're just so into each other that nobody would spoil it. Maybe let's say it was that, not that nobody was listening.
That was it. Yeah, that had to be it.
Even nobody at work said anything to me.
Right.
That could be a bad sign. I mean, right. The key still works, but
right.
I don't know.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It could be ending soon for me.
Oh, man. And I'm over here accusing poor Allie.
Well, not really. I mean, you didn't think it was her. You just didn't have a better idea.
I didn't have a better idea. Like, I guess I forgot that I told you I have this thing about such detail about the chairs.
I could have given you the weekend on this.
Yeah, you definitely could have. You probably should have.
Somebody then maybe tells you.
Yeah, if I'm out tomorrow or something, maybe somebody says like, "Hey, I heard you, on Friday talking about the chairs. It was Mike."
Should I have done that instead? Should I have just let it hang, until somebody else told him it was me? I don't know. I couldn't have.
I did. I'm trying to remember how long I let this run. We rented a car while we were in Puerto Rico, and it was a Hyundai Santa Fe, which is the same car you drive, but because it was a newer model because it doesn't look anything like your car. I described it to my kids because we were picking them up at the airport. I'm like, I'm going to be driving a car that looks like it was built in Minecraft, is how I would say it. And I like the car. I like the design of the car, but it's all sort of square. Yeah. It's just a lot, and it's very attractive and it's super comfortable. We all fit. We're huge, and we all fit in there. It was great. I noticed, in fact, I think it was when the kids were flying in and I wanted to tell them what kind of car we were in, and I was in the car. I wasn't driving at the moment, and I was in the driver's seat of the car, and I'm looking around the car for some sign of what, tell me what you are, car, right? Usually a car has some insignia, the make or model on the dashboard somewhere. This car had no markings inside it at all to tell you what it was.
Okay.
So I noticed that, and then Owen was driving. The day we went and played golf, I had a few beers, and he didn't, so he drove us back from the golf course. And we're sitting at a red light, and I said to him, take a look at your field of vision here for a second, and tell me if you notice anything peculiar about this car. And I said, it has nothing to do with its operational functionality or safety or anything at all. It's aesthetic. Just tell me if you notice anything that seems odd about this car. And he sat there and he looked around, and then the light turned green. He started going, and he's like, this is driving me crazy. Like, what could it be? What is it? What is it? And I think I let him, like, through the night. I think it wasn't until hours later I said, there's no insignia that tells you what make or model car it is inside the car. Like, even when you start it up, it doesn't say, like, Hyundai, nothing. There was no, that was kind of strange. Like, cars usually want you to know what you're driving. So I had a little thing like that with him where I was able to.
You let him hang.
I let him hang for a bit. But
did you put all the chairs back?
Oh, yeah, the chairs were all back. Yeah. I couldn't. I couldn't. Well, I can't live.
Of course. Well, thank you. I should thank you for that. Because now I have no chance that on, like, Monday morning somebody finally, that's enough with the chairs. They're all over the room. What happened in here? And then they get, like, the building people involved, and maybe there's cameras, and I guess I should be lucky that hasn't happened yet, as far as I know. Who's coming in here at night and moving all the chairs around? Like, that might be a thing you could ask. But
I love that this has been going on for months without me realizing it. It was never dramatic enough for me to notice like I did just now.
It only worked because you went down there twice.
That's right.
And I went in between and moved everything around. And when I come out of that room, I sort of jerk my head to the right to see if you're going to see me.
Right.
Like, what's my story? If we went down on the same break and you see me come out of that room, like, what are you doing? What's this?
Yeah. You never come down here.
You never come down here. Okay.
That was a very good guess.
All right.
Full marks to you. Good job.
I got the payoff
You
on
did.
a Friday. Perfect little payoff.
Really did, because I was
no guest in the way.
I was aghast when I walked back in the room.
Aghast.
I just like, how could this happen?
I was happy with the garbage can one. I don't know, right up against the wall, a chair just like pinned against the wall with a garbage can in front of it. Maybe somebody had to throw up or something.
I got to tell you, scenario. I'm not even sure I noticed it.
Okay.
That's how shook I was when I walked in the room. Like, there was enough going on in my field of vision immediately that I probably, by the time I got to the garbage can chair, I just straightened it out and didn't even think about how it was positioned.
You were already wondering how.
Right. And I got down, there was a shorter break. I was worried about getting back. I was going to leave the chairs. I thought, I can't leave the chairs.
I also would do a back-to-back one that I like.
I need to fix the
I
chairs
did a back-to-back one. Why would that be? Why would there be back-to-back?
Right.
Anyway, so much for that has ended. That chapter has been closed. Wow. Paul Hamilton.